is a very, very special day. Today is a day that we get to honor this incredible person who is sitting next to me, Christian Dawson. He has been a part of this university for 10 years. 4 years as a student, 6 years on staff, and then 2 years as our campus pastor. And so we're going to do something different at each chapel. But in this first chapel, Christian, each of our campus ministry, our staff, and if you don't know them, you're going to get a chance to meet them today. They're going to come and share a story about you.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
So sit back, relax, and it's story time with Christian. Let's welcome Megan.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, first of all, Christian, I want to share a couple of random stories. There's our squished picture from when we hiked Heather Lake together. That was fun. We thought we were going to see a bear, but we didn't, and we were pretty pumped about that. But yes, my name is Megan. I've gotten to work with Christian for about 5 years, and okay, a few funny things we've shared. One is obviously many, many competitive rounds of Spicy Uno.
Oh, yep.
Many competitive rounds. Christian being a type 3 always wins. I never win as a type 9. So I just enjoy the ride. Also, lots of jokes about the buffer and what could happen in the buffer.
The buffer.
And many, many emails signed, "I serve at the pleasure," due to our mutual love of Madam Secretary. If you haven't watched it, you should check it out. I was just thinking, Christian, through all the things we've shared, the hysterical moments of trying to kill spiders in the office, oh my goodness, you should see Christian go at a spider with a giant water bottle, like the kind that goes on a water bottle dispenser. He's just whacking at that spider, breaking vases, screaming. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And I think we got it.
we did get it.
Yeah.
There's stains on the wall.
All the moments of just that and sitting through hundreds, literally hundreds of plan everything meetings where we literally planned everything. I also just got to see your character in public and in private, and I'm really honored, and I know for sure I'm going to cry, but why not? Why not cry, right? So I'm really honored to have seen your character and how consistent it is. And something that I noticed is that I was going through my text messages last night, and I have a lot of text messages from you that are just like, we need to do this, we need to tweak this, we need to change the lighting, we need to write that new document, whatever. But 50%, I kid you not, 50% of my text messages are you just asking me how I'm doing, telling me that you care, telling me that you love me. And I think it's a good thing that we all care so much to cry during these moments, because to me, what you were saying in that moment is that, yes, the projects matter, yes, the programs matter, but the people matter more. And so something that I want to share with you is from a book that you actually recommended to me, the book called Preaching by Timothy Keller. And when I opened it up, I thought, whoa, if Christian read this book, then he must have taken it to heart, because you embody so much of what Tim Keller said here. And this is what you've done in our community at Northwest, and this is what you showed me in my life by working with you. Keller says, according to Paul, you can preach with genuine spiritual power only if you offer Christ as a living reality to be encountered and embraced by those who listen. This means to preach with awe and wonder at the greatness of what we have in Christ. It means to exhibit an uncontrived transparency, showing evidence of a heart that is being mended by the very truth you are presenting. It entails a kind of poise and authority rather than an insecure desire to please or perform. So your love, joy, peace, and wisdom must be evident as you speak. You should be something like a clear glass through which people can see a gospel-changed soul in such a way that they want it too, and so that they get a sense of God's presence as well. So thank you for being a clear glass for our community, and I love you.
Love you too, Megan. Thank you.
Christian, I think there are... Take my mask off. Christian, there are so many things that I appreciate about you, and Christian and I have been avoiding talking about all this because it makes both of us too emotional. But I told you a couple of days ago that you have been probably one of the most impactful people in my life, especially the last few years. And I'm going to probably miss most just, you guys probably agree when it comes to good friends, you just miss the moments you can't plan, the walking in, the you yelling, asking for ideas in the office. It's those moments that make friendships and stuff so good. And you've been just a good friend. And I know so many people agree with that and the impact that you've had on their life and your preaching abilities and your ability to connect and communicate to people. But from my standpoint, from someone who just stumbled into working with you, thank you so much, man. I love you so much. But one of my favorite stories of Christian is Christian loves hot tubs.
Oh, yeah.
Christian loves hot tubs. And a couple of years ago when I was a student here, Christian lived about 5 minutes away. And
Don't tell us.
You knew it was the thing, especially just probably more for the guys. If you could go hot tub with Christian, you made it in life. And he lived about 5 minutes away, and he had a hot tub at his apartment complex. And I just remember Christian was always inviting guys over to come hot tub. And you were just so intentional. And I remember as a student looking up, like, he's not just this high-up pastor. He's someone who cares. And you care for people so well. And you love hot tubs in the process. Yes, and one of my favorite stories with Christian is probably 2 years ago, right when I got hired on a staff. We were on a trip, and we went to a hot tub, and we talked about the Enneagram, because Christian loves the Enneagram, for hours. And it was the first time I really just got to sit and just get to know you. And it was a moment you cared. You had me read an entire chapter on an Enneagram 7, because that's what I am. And you talked all about yours and the Enneagram 3, and we just got to know each other. And it's one of my favorite memories. It was kind of the start off of an amazing season and a great friendship that I didn't know was coming. And I think in that process, one of the things I love most about you is just your intentionality. And I love how intentional you are with people. And so many students sitting in here and watching online can agree that you are so intentional with them. From walking to you having meetings with them to you just being a pastoral care, you are so intentional. And then the second thing I love is your life emulates what so many people want to do and be like. And one of the best things that I can say about the last 2 years is I'm a better person from being around you, from watching the way you do life, from the conversations. I am such a better man, such a better friend, such a better person. And I just appreciate you give that off to so many people. People love to be around you for that reason. And so I couldn't put into words how much. I'll cry later. I cried a couple of days ago when we were talking, but I love you so much, and I just thank you so much for everything you've done for me and for our community.
Thanks, Micah. Love you, man.
Hi, Christian. I'm Bev Luxon, and I've had the privilege of working with Christian for the past 2.5 years since I've been in the campus ministries office. When I think of Christian, first of all, I want to say, it's such a joy to hear him in the morning when he comes in. He's usually singing. I usually get to hear singing and beautiful things throughout the day in the office, and it's really awesome to work with that, and that's Christian. But when I think of Christian, I'm filled with such kind feelings, and it's because I see him living out a kindness every day that's truly derived from having a heart for Jesus. I have the privilege of seeing him almost every workday at the campus ministries office, and we all know that Christian's a very creative guy, and he has countless things going on every day in his life. But I've never heard him say that he's too busy to be available for someone. He'll drop what he's doing to greet you. He always asks you if you need anything, how he can help you, and he'll pray for you, whatever the situation. And I've seen him do that with students every day that come into the office. Recently, a student told me that what he appreciates about Christian is that although he was only one of many students that Christian works with, Christian always made him feel that his individuality mattered. Christian made him feel important, needed, and significant. And I think he does that for all the students he works with, or lives with, basically, every day. I I honestly don't think I know anyone as kind and as loving as you, Christian. And it's just been such a joy to see you living out your calling from God every day. Keep being you, Christian, a true Christian. And this is not goodbye.
No.
It's just a see ya, hopefully again and again.
Thanks, Bev. Thank you.
Well, I have had the opportunity. I've been at about 4 different farewell parties for you,
Yep.
and I've loved every one of them. And at each of them, I've had an opportunity to talk about different areas of our relationship. And the truth is, we're family, we're friends, we're coworkers. The area that I have not talked about is the musical part of it, which is probably a very, very, very huge part of what we do. And I want to just share this story. You know Christian as a campus pastor, and even in this past year, he's done more preaching than he has done music. The truth is, he's an incredible worship leader. He's a part of a really amazing band that's traveled all over, McKinney Dawson. He helps me with all of the Coralon's music. He arranges a lot of the Coralon's music with me. He's led our band, so his musical skills are never ending. But this is what I want to share with you. Exactly 10 years ago this month, Christian stood right here, auditioned for NU worship, and didn't make it. Stood right here and auditioned for NU worship, and we've talked about this, and he didn't, and he didn't make it. And that what I want to talk about today is your tenacity, and your not letting the difficult things in life cause you to say, well, that's it, I'm giving up. And I credit that to your mom, and I tell you that over and over and over again. But Christian, I've never forgot that. You had been leading music at a church, but you and I both know it was just a bad audition, a bad day. But you continued to be a part, and grow. And today people go, what were we thinking at that point? But I just want to just say to you, I think even as you go to Portland and the things that you have ahead of you, there's going to be some difficult moments. There's going to be some moments where you give up. But would you just remember 10 years ago when we said no to NU worship, and you ended up being a worship leader that travels all over the country leading worship? That tenacity that you have is something that I really, really admire. And I just know in these years to come, God's going to use that I can do attitude in incredible ways. I love you more than I possibly could express. I have expressed it a lot, but I'll continue to express it to you. You have changed this place, and you've changed my life.
Oh, love you, Brenda.
Here we go. If I get emotional, it's just me. So I have been walking through this journey here for a little while. Anyway, Brenda just shared a story of Christian and the worship side of that experience, and I have memories of you learning to back up a trailer.
Yeah, that was bad.
And sitting in the van next to you, and that was a good time. And a lot of my memories, as much as the friendship is deep, and I've said this many times, in the early days, you were like a son to me. Now you're like a brother. And so many memories. And many of them are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like backing up a trailer that day.
Peter Pan.
And it's funny you just said Peter Pan, because that's where I'm going.
Oh, no.
A lot of our memories include Disneyland.
Yep.
And I've actually lost count on how many times we've been to Disneyland together. Many, and I hope there's many more to come. But I actually will never forget the moment that we discovered the true magic of Disney.
Yes.
And of course, I can't tell the full story.
No, you can't tell that story.
Because it just is not possible. But we truly were standing in line. I'll say this part. We were truly standing in line at Peter Pan, the Peter Pan ride. We were standing in line. And we realized that there is magic at Disneyland beyond just Tinkerbell. And and you've had these moments where I've been in a stressful moment. As an example of that, you knew the day I was doing my daughter's wedding and how emotional that would be for me. And I will never forget the moment it was just a simple text right before the wedding was about to start, and I was a basket case. You knew that because you knew me well enough to know that I was going to be emotional that day. And right before I went onto the platform to do my daughter's wedding, you sent me a text, and you said, "Just think Peter Pan." And it was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So a lot of fun memories that we've had over the last 10 years of being together. But I think really just the friendship that we've had is probably the thing that I just really love the most and will continue to love, honestly. And this moment, and I don't know if actually you recall the moment as much as it plays over in my mind, almost like a movie moment, just a clip where I can't forget the moment. It was just this sort of surreal kind of place. And we were actually in New York City. We had gone there for a conference, and others I think they went shopping, which was typical. We had a break, and others went shopping. It was just you and I, and we decided just to find a coffee shop. And I don't know if you remember this, but we found just kind of this it was just kind of this local coffee shop. We went in, sat down. Both of us got coffee. I don't think you were drinking coffee at that time because you don't drink coffee much, but we were had a drink, and we were sitting there, and we just both broke out the book that we were reading in the moment, and we sat there just together. Mm-hmm. We were just in space together. Mm-hmm. And I think the mark of true friendship is when you can be together. You don't have to really say anything because you just appreciate each other so much. Yeah. You don't have to, it's just comfortable. There's just a sense of peace there. And in my mind, I still have this image of us sitting in that coffee shop. Just a peaceful moment. We were reading our books together. It was comfortable. It was peaceful. It was just this cool moment. And we didn't have to try to entertain each other. We didn't have to over-communicate or make each other feel comfortable because just being together was comfortable enough. And I love you. I really do. What you've done for our community, I've learned so much from you and continue to learn from you. And you're just the dearest friend. And so you'll be missed, but not forgotten. And I love you so much.
Love you too, Phil. Thanks.
And so we're going to hear from him. He actually has an incredible word at the end. But we have invited in both chapels some friends and colleagues just to share really some meaningful thoughts. And so today, let me just tell you, we have 4 guests with us that are coming. The first is a student from here at NU, Hannah Matson. She works as part of NU Worship, works very closely. She's a senior, so she is coming to start today to share. Second, we have an alumnus, which is Brittany. I was going to say Brittany Basso, Brittany Rosas. And I would just say, not that you have favorites, but she's might have been one of your favorites. And she has some stories to tell. Incredible man, youth pastor at Church Home. And I know through conversations with you, and I happen to know him, Shaddai is here today to share about your relationship and all how God, the two of you really have brought you together just in incredible ways. And then a local pastor from the area, Brian McCormick, he is the pastor at Reach Church here in Kirkland. And so he's coming today just to talk about just your impact on this campus and beyond in the city of Kirkland and all that you have done.
I didn't put that together in the green room, by the way.
You didn't?
I was like, what are they doing here?
Yeah.
And, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So Hannah, would you please come and let's start this amazing chapel as we honor Christian Dawson.
Wait, I think you're off. Are you not? Okay. Bump in here. That's okay.
Are you good, Jacob?
No. Let's grab a different one. One to here. We'll figure it out.
Are we good? Cool. Well, Christian has been my pastor here at Northwest for 4 years since I arrived, and I can't say enough how much you've impacted my life. A story that's not a fun, exciting, funny story, but there was a point in my years here where I found myself in a horrible position, and I had made some decisions that I regretted deeply, and I remember so clearly all of this came to light, and Christian was completely blindsided by it. And at the time, I was under his leadership, and he was completely blindsided by everything that had come to light. And I remember that day, you asked me if we could just go on a walk to talk about it. And we walked outside the chapel. We started here in the lobby, and we walked outside the chapel. And for just 5 minutes, we were out there walking, and I began by profusely apologizing to you and telling you how embarrassed I was and how sad I was that this had happened. And you stopped me in the middle of what I was saying. And you said, Hannah, I believe in you. You said these words. You said, not that I expected you to fail, but in a way I did, because that's humanity. And that's what happens when we're humans following Jesus, is that we fail. And I remember in that moment, I felt so deeply loved and cared for by you. The fact that I had made these terrible mistakes and had blindsided you completely, but the fact that you still chose to see me in my humanity and in my mistakes and love me in it, changed me for the better. I want to read a few words that I wrote to you, because right now I can't process as well as I did when I wrote this. Oh, Christian, how devastated I am to have to say goodbye, but how excited I am for this opportunity to speak to all that I've learned from you and all that I admire about you. I've been deeply blessed and beautifully changed by your presence in my life. Years of being led in worship by you in Montana — he used to come to Montana and lead worship at camp, still does — allowed me to see your passion for the gospel. Living under your pastoral leadership at Northwest has shown me your God-given gifts in action. And working with and alongside you has given me a glimpse of your personal discipline and character. You are a man of inspiring integrity, a truth that has been visible through all the seasons I've known you. You're intentional with your time, your decisions, and your spiritual disciplines, and this intentionality is rewarded greatly with the doors the Lord opens in front of you, large and small, though if it's a God-ordained door, it's not small. While you're undoubtedly a gifted communicator, a calming presence, an engaging friend, and the life of any party, as a 3, of course, your discipline and integrity are what have brought you so far and will continue to carry you through your life. The list of qualities in you that I admire is unbearably long, but included in that list are your inclusivity, your passion to see others empowered, your openness and honesty, your unashamed laughter that lights up any room. I'm deeply grateful that all of these qualities and many more continue to operate in stress, in conflict, in confrontation, and in any other situation you find yourself in. You are consistent, and you always have been. That's just a little bit of what I wrote in here. In this journal that I'm so excited to give you today, we've collected over 50 encouragements, stories. If you don't know, Christian is huge on words of affirmation. Words of encouragement are the biggest thing that you could possibly do for him. So following that, we put this together, and it has people that love you deeply, that have walked through life with you, that have been impacted by your ministry and your life, and we are just so excited to give this to you. I pray that it becomes something that in the future, maybe 10 years down the road and you're needing encouragement, you open this back up and you find some encouragement in it. There are some blank pages near the end, because there's obviously more than 50 pages in this journal, but there are blank pages in the end, so I know you collect words of affirmation, and so as you do, I would encourage you to put them in here. Let this be a collection that speaks to you and encourages you more than just now, and I promise it's going to take quite a while to read through all of these, so don't try to do it at once. But I love you, Christian, and I'm so deeply grateful for you. I would not be who I am today or where I am today without your influence. Thank you.
Love you. I love you. I'm breaking this. It's not on camera.
Okie dokes. Well, am I supposed to stand here? Yeah? Okay. So, first off, I will receive and accept the title of the favorite student. I'm okay with that. I'll take it in. That's going to stay with me for a while. A few things for you to treasure. So something that maybe not everyone here knows is that Christian and I's relationship has worn many different hats throughout the years. So I first met Christian, and you were the worship leader for my senior high summer camp. So that's how my introduction was to you, an anointed person, someone that I was like very far off from, but inspired by. Woo! Hold it back. From there, I came to Northwest, and you became the Coralon's keyboardist, the guy who worked for Campus Ministries, and the alumnus that everybody talked about because you made such an impact. After that point, the best thing in the entire planet happened, and you hired me for student leadership, and you took on the title of boss. Now, I just want to say, I know there's a lot of bias, but we had the best team in the entire planet. Me, you, and Libby Abston. That was the dream team.
That was fun.
We basically lived here in the chapel and spent so many hours eating Met cookies and just, I also want to say I'm sorry for all the times you had to remind me to wipe off that whiteboard. I hope everyone else has done better justice than I have in that way. The greatest thing on top of that was that during those 2 years, one of them, Christian was the roommate of my husband and boyfriend at the time. So I got to see you not just 24/7 here, but also in your home life, which was really a gift. From there, 2 years later, you became campus pastor and became my pastor and my friend. And then also that year, we became co-workers. So lots of stuff going on here. One more thing. After that point, you took on the title of groomsman, and you stood by Alex and I on our most special day, and since then have been family more than just a friend. So because we've spent so much time together, we kind of started to dress a little bit alike for a season. That stopped pretty quickly, mostly because my style kept changing. Christian stayed really, no, your style has changed.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well.
But the reason I say all of these different things and kind of give you guys an insight is because I think Hannah said this, but the thing that stood out to me so much through all the years is your consistency. You are consistent in your character. You are integrous in every single way. When you're on the stage, when you're off the stage, when you're in your home, you are someone who is a role model. You bring laughter and light into every situation. Even when it's kind of awkward, you still make a joke and we all laugh. You're someone who is fun to travel with. There's just so many qualities about you that are consistent in every space you go. And I think a few more actually. You have really high standards, but when your standards aren't met, you're so gracious and to use them as an opportunity to learn, which is something I've learned so much from you. And because of all those things, I think that's truly why your legacy here is going to be so strong. I've told you before, I can't imagine a Northwest without you. And I truly believe that you are leaving something behind that's going to far outlive your presence here because you are the same in every single space that you occupy. And I know for myself, I don't know if I've ever told you, but for myself, so many of the things that I've learned about being a leader and about being a human being, about loving Jesus, have been because of you, because of the active lessons you've taught me through conversations and teaching, through the passive moments of watching how you lead other people. And I think there's so many students and there's so many friends who can say the same, that they've been impacted by your life because of how you lead. And the incredible thing to me is that you haven't just impacted people's lives here at Northwest from 2014 on when you were hired, but you were impacting lives far before that when you were a student. And that to me is truly the sign of a leader of leaders, is someone who comes here, impacts the lives of everyone around them, and then is given the spot to say, hey, we want to entrust you with more. And that to me is just so true of you. You lead people, you love people, and I can't wait. I'm so proud to see all the things that you do in this next season. I know that God is going with you, and that your faithfulness to him is truly why these doors are opening up. And so I can't wait to see all that happens. I'm so freaking proud of you.
Thanks,
and I
B.
can't wait to come and annoy you in Portland all the time. That is all.
Love you, bro. She's not a student, so that's more okay, right? Okay.
All right. I have my Bible, but I have a verse to share with you, which I can't remember it. I haven't memorized it, so that's why I've got it here. But Christian, we've actually known each other for quite a while. I've known you longer than you've known me. I don't know if you knew that, but when I was in high school, I used to see you sing at Christian Faith Center, and you were my mom's favorite, singer, and she'd always talk about you. And she's like, oh my gosh, he is just, my mom's African, so she's got the accent too. And she just would always go on and on about you. And that was when we didn't even know each other. She could just tell there was just something different about you. There was the call of God on your life. And Jesus had truly impacted you at a young age. I don't even know how old you were at the time, but I remember watching you sing back then and being impacted as a high schooler who had just recently met Jesus in such a powerful way that I was like, you know what, I'm going to start coming to church every Sunday with my parents. And you were the one that I would hear sing. And that has impacted me. And then when I came to college and we got to know each other, that was such a blessing. And I remember telling my mom, hey, you wouldn't believe who's one of my best friends now, Christian. And to this day, she still always asks about you. And I don't even think you've met her before. Have you? Maybe you did at the wedding. That's true, right there. Yeah, that was the first time. And she was so excited to meet you. And there's one thing which I really noticed about you. And you truly are a man that is after God's own heart. And I can say that because of the humility that you carry. You carry humility in the way you walk, in the way you talk, in our friendship. And every single conversation we have, I can trust that you're not going to try and say something which is pleasing to me. You're going to be honest. And that's why I truly admire you as an older brother and as such a close friend, because, there's some times when, you want to, there's some situations where it's like, all right, I need someone who's going to keep it real with me. And hopefully you got someone like that in your life. For me, it's Christian. And recently, you have kept it, this is kind of funny, but it's really real. Even when it comes to preaching a message, that's, sometimes it's so easy to be so protective over something like that. It's I don't want anyone to critique this because it's so personal, but I love being able to just to come to you. And this is just says who you are. And it's hey, actually that theology right there is a little bit off. Here's why, and here's where you can fix it. That has been such a blessing to me. I've been oh God, I'm calling Christian anytime I need to preach. But way more than that, you have been the greatest friend. I love coming over when you're, just lived right here and just being able to just come, cook some food and just chill and just hang out. But you've been such a blessing to me, and I am so grateful. You're moving to my brother's city, and, if I'm being quite frank, I am believing for my brother to come to know Jesus in a new way. And I believe that God is sending you there to potentially be an answer for him. And I'm really excited for that. I'm excited for your friendship with my brother to spark. And I'm saying that in faith because I believe that you can be a beacon of light to him. And I'm excited to come visit. And I'll share this verse. And it's Romans 8:31. And it says, what then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not graciously give us all things? How will he not graciously give us all things? I believe that you're walking into a season where God is going to graciously give you all things. And I believe that you're walking into something which you don't even see all the things that he's going to bring to you. God has so much in store for you, way more than you can think or imagine. And this is going to be a season. I just see you walking in the light. There's that old Hillsong song, walking in the light. I'm telling you, do you know the song? Yes, you do. Come on, I knew I had someone that would know it. But you are going to be walking in a new season, walking into a season where God is graciously giving you all things. And we're going to see that, and we're going to all be so excited for you. So I love you so much. And hey, this is just the beginning, man.
Yeah,
so praise God. Claps. It's okay.
Pastor Dawson, good to see you guys. Okay, I'm jumping in. I'm going to set a time record here, Brenda. 5 minutes. Start the clock. Okay. Quick hitters here. I went and I checked our text exchange. How far can the iCloud trace our digital relationship? The first text message I have from you is November 2015. We had some before that, but that's how far it goes. The deep prophetic word you had for me that day was, happy birthday, Brian. Okay? Every year, as I scroll on my birthday, there's a happy birthday text in between lots of theological questions and lots of all kinds of other stuff. You're thoughtful. If you have experienced the thoughtfulness of Christian Dawson, please say amen. All right, let's move forward. Second thing I've got, other than thoughtful, is your humility. Your humility is irrational. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for someone as gifted as you to be as humble as you are, at all. There are way too many stories among leaders in the church that go, oh man, my gifting got out ahead of my character. That's not your story, bro. That's not your story. That's rare. So thank you for the picture you provided of that. When you give someone a stage, the way that the one who came before you, who you honor so well, in Pastor Phil, when someone gives you a stage, that person on that stage is either going to use it to pedestal themselves or to platform the gifts of others for the glory of God, and you do the latter. You're not scared of your own gifting, but you platform the gifts of other people. Thank you for that humility. Other thing I love about you is that you are loyal. Not just in relationship, but I get to speak on behalf of the pastors, of the worship leaders around this region and beyond, who have seen your loyalty to your tribe, which is so admirable, but your ultimate loyalty to the church, the capital C church. You do both those things well. That can be really, really hard, and I've been so blessed by that. The fact that many of us in different churches, in different contexts, have gotten to see you show up at churches that you don't attend. Yes, to share your gifts as a preacher or as a musician, but sometimes just to bless us with your presence. And we get to take that deep breath and be like, oh, thank God, Christian's here today. I know, Brenda, there's been a couple times in concerts or meetings where you've been like, this is going to be a disaster. Oh, wait, I forgot, Christian's going to be here. We're going to be okay. Like, that's who this guy is. And it's true in performance, it's true in relationship, like, ooh, this conversation might be a disaster, but wait, oh no, Christian's gonna be there, we're okay. You're that guy. So we celebrate all these attributes of you. We celebrate all these things. On behalf of the pastors of this area, we celebrate the fact that you are just a capital C church guy. On behalf of the Donald Zimmermans and the Zach Hendricks and the guys that you wouldn't think you have these meaningful relationships with, but you do. Those more invisible ones, those guys, thank you so much. And on behalf of everybody here, we celebrate every aspect of you. And everyone went before me said something so helpful. And I choose to be risky right now for my last thought. We celebrate your gifting. We celebrate the fact that above all, you are our brother in Christ. We celebrate your preaching gift. We celebrate your leadership gift. We celebrate your music gifts. But Christian, I want to say it, we celebrate your blackness today too. We celebrate the fact that you came into this community, into a community that's a majority white community that is committed to growing influency in the racial conversation. You shared your hesitation. You shared your fear. At times you shared your righteous anger. But we celebrate that aspect of it as well. That, my friend, you are a picture of black intellect, of black passion, of black gifting. And you champion, you champion white empathy and white engagement and engagement and passion for all colors to engage the conversations of our day and to more accurately represent the kingdom of God and heaven. You have done that masterfully and humbly. And it has been so timely. You were here for this season, in this place, with these people for lots of reasons. But what a joke if we don't highlight the way you've led us in that conversation as well. So we thank you. We celebrate every aspect of you. And we anticipate the way that you are going to steward these gifts as you move forward, regardless of whether it's Portland or someplace beyond that. Last thing, some saints that have come before us have said things like, preach the gospel, die, be forgotten. And I think that is your mentality. My friend, you have preached the gospel. You've died to yourself often, but you've kind of screwed up the formula. You're not going to be forgotten. You're too humble for that. So we love you, and we celebrate you. Why don't you put your hands together for Christian?
Thank you, man. Love you. Oh, I love you. Ooh.